Hello, everyone. My name is Rose Simpson. I'm a librarian at the New Haven Free Public Library, and welcome to For the Love of Chocolate, hosted by our creative in residence, Nadine Nelson. We're going to learn how to make homemade chocolates today. So Nadine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Ooh. Oh, am I here still? All
Yep,
right.
I see you.
All right. Hi. I you can see me holding my phone,
Mhm.
and the overhead camera is not working, and I have lipstick on my chin. But hi, we're here for the love of chocolate. I love chocolate. Who doesn't love chocolate? And Valentine's Day is coming, and some people they get cynical and say it's like a man-made holiday. Yes, we should love each other every single day and show each other love and affection and adoration. So this is a way that you can do it. Making chocolate is really, really easy. And so that's what we're going to do today. And so um, if you do not have a microwave, because that's what we're going to be using, and some people you can feel what you want about microwaving, but for making chocolate, it's actually a really easy thing to be able to do. Um, but if you're not, then you can do a double boiler, and that's having two pots on top of each other. One pot, the bottom pot, will have water, and then you will gently boil the water and put the chocolate on top, and then you will use a whisk to melt the chocolate. So the things that we're doing today, the applications are actually really easy. I'm going to just show you how you put these things together, and then at around 4:30 Erika Dupree is going to come and talk to us. She was on Top Chef Desserts, which I only think was on for 2 seasons, but it was actually really amazing. And she makes really beautiful artisanal chocolate, and she does it from bean to bar. So she goes and she'll talk to you about cocoa and then how she processes it and then makes really beautiful chocolate that aesthetically is very beautiful, but then tastes like divine. And when she comes on, I'll talk to you about how I know her. And um, so as Rose said, I am the creative in residence. I'm also the owner of Global Local Gourmet, and we specialize in interactive culinary education. And I won't say that sweets are my strength, but I do like chocolate. So today we're going to make chocolate bombs. We're going to make chocolate candies. We're going to showcase molds and the we're going to showcase the equipment that the library has and that Rose made your molds for your chocolate. And also, we're going to make chocolate mousse. So, we're going to do many different things that you can apply for maybe this weekend for Valentine's Day, but chocolate is something that you can eat every day. So, and as I said, you should show love for people that you care about. So, my daughter is saying that I need to face the camera. I'm going to give her the phone. All right. We're going to start melting chocolate. So the reason why I had Erika come and talk to us at 4:30 is because we're going to melt chocolate in the microwave 15 to 30 seconds at a time. And right here in your make and take bags, there might have been semi-sweet chocolate. That's semi-sweet chocolate right here. This is like really nice, the highest like kind of quality chocolate that you can get at the regular supermarket. So I'm not going to say what the name is, but it's from San Francisco. And that's milk chocolate. And then in the back is another bag that's dark chocolate that you guys received. And so I'm just going to be putting chocolate in the microwave, and then we're going to be using molds. So we have a heart mold right here. We have flower molds. We have for chocolate bars. So you have one that Rose made that has chocolate bars, and she has.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about that now, Rose?
Sure, I can do that. I'll let you show off what you've got.
All right. Then we have I got this off the internet. So these are silicone molds. So all the molds that I showed you are silicone molds. And silicone molds, they take heat very well. And they're great for making candy and making chocolate. And so this is a smaller one, which will make kind of like truffles or like individual chocolates.
And silicone molds can also be put in the oven. So there's like some you can get for that are like cupcake molds in different shapes, and those would be larger.
Right.
Those work for all kinds of things.
Exactly. And then this is an even smaller one that you can make even smaller individual chocolates for these boxes that we gave you. So you have boxes to wrap your chocolates in and give them to people if you want to. And then I have even a bigger one for doing the chocolate bombs.
And then I've got, these are the ones that I made in the Tinker Lab that you'll find in your kits. So to make these, I used 3 different pieces of equipment. I used a vacuum former, which is a machine that heats up sheets of plastic and then molds it around things. And then to make the molds, I used a wood carving machine called a CNC router to do, we've got this bar shape, we've got diamonds, flowers, hearts, and you can see these have like carvings into them as well as carved along the outsides. And then you see, once we've got that mold, the plastic was just kind of heated and sucked around it to make this mold. Now, some of you might have a sort of like lumpy round shape. I tried using a 3D printer to 3D print round shapes, but the problem is the 3D printer and the vacuum form both work by heating plastic and reshaping it. So when the hot plastic from the vacuum form hit the plastic from the 3D printer, it kind of melted into these weird lumpy shapes. So if you've got those lumpy shapes, you can make chocolates out of them or you can ignore them. It's all up to you. And all of these equipment, the 3D printer, the CNC router, and the vacuum form, they will all be available to the public to use once the library reopens. And we're going to have classes on how to use all of them. And they're all available for free.
Great. All right. So we just put it in there for 30 seconds already. And that's the whole bag of chocolate. This is the milk chocolate I'm starting off with. Because usually people like milk chocolate best, I would say. And so what you want to do right now is, I would say, divide up your chocolate into 2 parts. Like you have to depend on what you want to make right now. So if you want to make the chocolate bombs, which I guess I'll start making so we can put them inside the freezer, is decide what chocolate you want to use for your chocolate bombs. You can use either of the bags of chocolate that I gave you, but we're putting them inside the microwave or on top of the stove and melting very gingerly and very patiently. So boiling the water on low on a double boiler and having your chips on top, and then using a whisk as you mix the chocolate. If you do it on top of the stove, if you're doing it in the microwave, then you just put it in 30 seconds at a time, and then you have a spoon on the ready to mix as it melts.
And anyone who's watching, either in Zoom or on Facebook, if you'd like to talk, type in the chat, I'll read it out. If you'd like to speak verbally, let me know. And if you're on Zoom, I'll turn on speaking for you.
Has anyone made chocolate before?
I have. I've done the double boiler version. And sometimes with that, you have to be careful that it doesn't burn or doesn't get liquid in there and that it all seizes up and gets clumpy.
Right. And so I have a thermometer over there. I don't know if my daughter got it working, but I don't usually use a thermometer. I'm more like an intuitive person, but in here, like if you want to make sure, like she said, we can ask Erika those kind of technical questions about the temperature and all that. So usually if I'm doing that type of being like meticulous in making like baking or my chocolate or candy, then I make sure that I have a book or my numbers right next to me. But here, like in regards to the chocolate, as long as you go 15 to 30 seconds at a time, then you're gonna make sure that you don't scorch the chocolate. More? Can I get the spoon? Yeah, thank you. So here you can see that the chocolate is almost melted. So I'm gonna go for another, I would say another 30 seconds. And then I'm gonna use the spoon for my to set my chocolate bombs. All right. Another 30 seconds. Thank you. And then when I line, I'm gonna line this. When I line these, then I'm gonna put it in the freezer, or you can put it in the fridge, or you can just let it sit out naturally to set each of my parts of my chocolate bomb. And then probably like around 15, 20 minutes, then I will fill them. And then I will melt some other chocolate and make some other kind of chocolate thing. So with the silicone, can you bring that over here, Soleil, so they can see this, please? Can they see right here? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do some gold. All right. Thank you. So I just did that gold right there, and then where's the cover for that? I'm going to do things like, if you have sprinkles, you can put some sprinkles. And that will be on the outside. Can you see that, Rose?
Yep, I can see that.
Yep. And I think that's it. And if you want to, you can use different types of chocolate. So you can use white chocolate. So I have white chocolate right here. And then here, see, all the chocolate is all melted. And then I'm going to pour it into my molds. And then you're going to see me move it around to make sure that it goes all over. So if you have, I gave you Easter eggs. If you have Easter eggs, divide them in half and then pour the chocolate over. Use your spoon. I wouldn't say pour it. Here it is. How are you? You're being taped. So you have this right here. I would use your spoon to make sure you get a nice layer. On your egg, and your egg is creating the vessel in which to put your powdered chocolate for your chocolate bomb. So I go all the way around, and I don't know, I think that also Rose probably gave you a version of doing it with foil if you want to make them a little bit bigger. It's not the easiest if you don't have a mold, but it can be done. So I have one part that is not, the chocolate's not on there. So I'm going to make sure that I cover this. And then I also have parchment paper or foil. And you want to just make sure that it goes down. So like, bring this up for me, please. You want to make sure that this goes down to the end on each side so you can put them together. All right. And then just put it on parchment to set. And you might have to do it 2 times to make sure that there's enough chocolate on there that you can take it off and then put them back together and make an egg. If you're having any trouble, because we might not be able to put, I'm not gonna do either side of those eggs. If you're having any trouble, you can go online and then be able to look. I will finish out the chocolate bombs. So here I'm just making sure. So like, can you get me another piece of paper? Well, not a piece of paper, but something that I can turn this over and put the parchment paper on there, please.
You could also use a spoon or something to push the chocolate up the sides.
Right, exactly.
And one advantage of using silicone over a hard plastic is silicone flexes more easily, so it's easier to get the chocolate out once it's hardened.
So do you see I'm using the spoon now to bring it up the sides? And then my daughter is getting another cookie sheet ready for me to put this on. I'm going to turn it upside down. And then when you turn it upside down, it makes for a good vessel to put everything else in. So I think I have enough chocolate. You want to make sure that there's enough chocolate, especially at the bottom of each one of these. So I'm just putting a little bit more chocolate. And you're making these for hot chocolate. So I don't know if there's anyone that has ever said that, oh, there's too much chocolate in my hot chocolate. All right, so I'm almost finished with setting this. And then with the chocolate that I have melted, I'm gonna start making different types of chocolates. And I'm gonna make them different. I'm gonna use milk chocolate, I'm gonna use dark chocolate, but then have different fillings. All right, so I can do that for you, please. So then I'm just gonna turn that over and then put it in the freezer, please. And we'll let that set for like 10, 15 minutes, and then hopefully they'll be able to pop out really easily. And then we'll be able to fill them and then put them together. I'm gonna go wash my hands right now and then come back and then set other chocolate. All right, so I have this cookie sheet with parchment paper on there. So like, can you start melting the semi-sweet chocolate, please, for me? So actually, you know what, since it's Valentine's Day, we will make some just regular heart chocolates. So you just fill, so like you make sure that this is showing exact. Can you see this, Rose?
Yes, I can see.
All right, so we're just filling up the molds and being a little bit messy. And if you want to, you can put nuts and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just gonna make these just be chocolate. They have like little eyes and a little smiley face on there. So I feel like that's enough embellishment. But if you want to, you could put anything that you want. Dried fruit, you can put dried flowers like roses. You can put nuts, coconut, sprinkles, all of that. So I'm just making to top it off a little bit so it goes up to the top.
Hello, Chef.
Someone asking a question?
Yes, Erica, how are you?
Hi, Erica.
How are you?
Erica, how are you?
Looks like
you came just on time. So I'm going to tell you guys how I know Erika, and then I'll let Erika introduce herself, and then she can talk about being to bar, and then we're melting chocolate. And while she's talking, you can just see me building up like individual chocolates. And as I said before you were on, they're not as pretty as Erika's, and I don't even know how she gets to make them all sparkly and like little pieces of art. She can talk to you about that. But while she's talking, then I'll be making some of the other chocolate while she's there. So how I know Erika, so we are like Facebook friends, and I was consulting for a food festival in Jamaica. I'm Jamaican, and a bunch of years ago, and they wanted me to get talent from America, and so I contacted Erika because she doesn't like chocolate, and she was on Top Chef Desserts, and I was totally impressed with her and her chocolate practice, because she's going to talk about how she takes chocolate from bean to bar and what that means. That's like an elevation of chocolate, not to mention like sustainable practices, because buying chocolate can be kind of a very political thing if you look into where your chocolate comes from. So she came down to Jamaica. She was really gracious, and it was a little interesting being Jamaican American down there. And Erika was like really great about understanding that it was the first time the festival was going on, and we had a really great time showing her my culture and having like lots of different adventures that if we have time we can talk about a little bit later. So Erika, please introduce yourself.
Well, hello everyone. I am Erika Klein. I have been a pastry chef for 32 years and a chocolatier for 15 years. So, and when I say chocolatier, I make chocolate from bean to bar. My favorite cocoa beans are from the Southern Caribbean, like Jamaica, St. Lucia, Grenada, and cocoa beans. If you know anything about coffee, every origin of coffee has a different flavor, and so does cocoa beans. So anything that is being grown in the soil at the same time as the cocoa beans will take on that flavor, like banana or mango or papaya trees. And also for like Jamaican cocoa beans are very bold cocoa beans, because majority of the cocoa beans are grown on coffee farms. Chef, did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So it's very, very, very rich and bold flavors. I have some cocoa some cocoa beans. I don't know if you can see me. Let me.
Rose, can you see Erika?
No, Erika, let me make you a panelist so you can turn the video on. One moment.
Okay.
All right, Erika, you're a panelist now. See if you can turn your video on. Okay, looks like it was taking a moment to reconnect. So Erika, you should be able to turn video on now. There we go. Hi, lovely to see you.
Awesome. So you guys, I'm just gonna move this down a little bit because I'm at work at the same time. So these are cocoa beans, and it comes from a cocoa pod that is grown on a tree. Actually, chocolate is fruit. If anyone didn't know. I wish I had a cocoa pod where you could see the pulp on the inside, which is very delicious, and it's white. So you take it out of the pod and you let it ferment, the best way to ferment cocoa beans is in a wooden box for a few days, and it releases all the acids and the juices and it starts to dry. Then you remove it from the box and put it under the sun and let them dry under the sun, as you would do in the islands. And then after that, you can roast them. And once you roast them, I'm just gonna pop one of these open and you remove the hull. And once you break these apart, they're called cocoa nibs from that part. I love to make cookies from these. Instead of putting chocolate chips, I put the cocoa nibs. And if you wanted to try cocoa nibs, you can order them. It's so funny. You can order them from Amazon and they're already processed and ready to go. You can put them in cookies, you can put them in muffins, scones, anything you like. And it's really good. It's very nutty. And then, as I said before, cocoa nibs take on the flavor of the earth that it was grown on. And then from that point, we do a process as in we put them in a melanger and we grind them up to a pulp, into a paste. And that's where
If you start melting the other chocolate.
sugar are, if we're just doing 70% dark chocolate, we just add sugar and let it go and grind for between 24 to 48 hours. You don't want to go past 48 hours, otherwise you lose like some of the texture of the chocolate. It's not as smooth. It doesn't temper as well. And then Chef Nadine was saying, how did I get my chocolate so shiny? And it was about tempering the chocolate. Chef, what kind of chocolate are you using?
I'm using all different types. I'm using like I used chocolate from San Francisco, like I didn't want to say what kind, like
Yeah, no
what
worries.
kind, yeah. So I'm using that chocolate. That's what I use for the chocolate bombs. Right now, I'm using like I think like it's 64%. I don't know, like it's semi-sweet chocolate that I'm making with just the chocolate treats. And then I have dark chocolate that I'm melting now. That's like around 64% cocoa.
Okay, nice, very very nice. I use for my bean to bar is, I just told you, from scratch from the cocoa. But then also sometimes it gets a little expensive to just make it from bean to bar. I'm gonna name them out because I used to be an ambassador, a chocolate ambassador for Cocoa Berry Calabo, and I really like using them because it's very versatile chocolate. And I'm gonna show you. I brought some bonbons. Here are my bonbons for Valentine's Day. Can you see those?
Yeah, they're really
Yeah.
pretty. Very
Awesome.
colorful.
Thank you. So we hand paint them with cocoa butter, colored cocoa butter, which is
Oh,
an
wow.
essence of chocolate. It is the fat from chocolate. So you can color those or buy it already colored. So what you see here is my pineapple scotch bonnet white chocolate, this one here. And I made fresh pineapple jelly and spiced it up with some scotch bonnet. This one here is my hazelnut milk chocolate heart and X's and O's. Inside, I make my own like Nutella from scratch from candied hazelnuts. Um, this one here, which is my favorite because I love margaritas. So I put a margarita in a bonbon. So there's sea salt inside, lime, tequila, white chocolate, cream. So it's delicious. Like you bite into it, you think you're having a margarita. And then this last one here, which is very popular, is a sea salt caramel. Homemade caramel, fresh sea salt, and enclosed with dark chocolate. So And the reason why I have such a nice shine is because I temper my chocolate. And what I mean by tempering is that I melt my chocolate down to 118 degrees or a little bit lower, between 116 to 118. And bye, guys. And then I stir it until it's completely melted. Then I chop up solid chocolate and slowly put it into the melted chocolate, and I stir, and that's called seeding. So when you're seeding your chocolate, you're bringing your temperature down, and you want to bring your temperature down to about 86 degrees. And we're talking Fahrenheit. I'm not in Celsius. If we were talking about Celsius, we'd be in the islands or Europe. A lot of European chefs and island chefs are in Celsius instead of Fahrenheit, but we're in the States. So bring it down to 86 degrees, and that's where that shine comes in. It's a little bit thicker, and you can definitely melt your chocolate in the microwave, but you never melt it more than a minute at a time, because the smell of burnt chocolate is horrible. Very, very bad. So that is how I temper my chocolate and get a great shine. Anyone have any questions? Okay.
We'll give them a little second.
And if you type your questions in the chat or in the Q&A feature, I'd be happy to read them out. We did have one question asking what the next step is for the chocolate bomb is. I said we will get to that once the outer shell is hardened.
Yeah, so we're just trying to make sure that the shells are hardened. And I don't even know if mine are hardened. They're in the freezer. And right now I'm just making chocolate. So I didn't really instruct you to go melt chocolate and then put it in your molds, but that's what you could be doing. And then I kind of covered my chocolate, and it's not the prettiest, like being flat, like they're kind of overstuffed. But I did one with coconut and almond, so like an almond joy. I did butterscotch and cashews. I did peppermint candy. So like, you know, your candies that you have left over from the holidays, smash them up. Then you can put those in the middle. You can put peanut butter if you want to. You can put cocoa. Right here, I put, white chocolate. And then right here, I put marshmallows. So you can put marshmallows, you can crush up graham cracker, you can put fluff. So there's all different types of you can use strawberry jam or cherry jam. You can use cherries if you want to put them in there. So there's all different things that you can put inside your homemade chocolates. And if you do not have a silicone mold, you can do this with your ice mold. And just make sure that you put enough chocolate up and down the sides. And you might have to do it 1 to 3 times to make sure there's enough chocolate for you to put something in the middle and then top it off like here. And I overstuff them, but who doesn't like to overstuff chocolate? And then when this sets, then you just push them out, and then you have chocolates that have fillings inside there. Sure. So I'm going to make, Erika, you still there?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Okay. Yeah. So do I have melted chocolate? Oh yeah, I have melted chocolate here. And then I was going to show people how to be able to make chocolate mousse, because I am not a dessert person really. So I like foolproof desserts, and I like desserts, especially if I'm going to teach people things. I like things that are going to be really easy. And I didn't talk about in the chocolate that if you want to add more luster, you can add oil. So this is coconut oil. You can add that. And if you want to add a little bit more flavor, you can add pure vanilla. Erika, you can tell people different things that they can add. I'm going to get ready to show you guys that there's melted chocolate here, and it's not too hot. I have heavy cream in the freezer to cool it down. And I love to make chocolate mousse, as it's really easy. I don't do the separated egg and egg white kind of chocolate mousse. I just whip up the heavy cream, and then with some chocolate, and then sometimes with some powdered sugar, or if you want to add different flavors like passion fruit or something like that, then that's what I do. Erika, you want to give any tips about flavoring chocolate?
For flavoring chocolates, because you know, besides just using your dark chocolate, you can also use white or milk. But flavoring the chocolates, I think you hit it right on the nose. I'm a big person when it comes to sauces. So you can, oh, those look fun. Is that for the bomb?
Yeah, for the bombs.
Nice.
So there's a lot of chocolate. As I said, I'm not going for aesthetically the most pleasing when I do my desserts, which I like aesthetically pleasing, but I can't necessarily go for that. But you see the gold right there. And then we'll fill them in a second. So I'll let Erika talk, and then I'll make the chocolate mousse, and then we'll end with like filling them up, because that will be fun.
Awesome. With the chocolate mousse though, I think you were right on the money with the flavors. Also with fresh fruit, you know, you can easily fold fresh raspberries or fresh sliced strawberries into there. Even like brandy cherries would be delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go from that point. You can do so many things. Even some toasted nuts if you like, some toasted walnuts, or ooh, there you go, toasted almonds. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Any of those things. So you were right on the money about that. And then I was saying before, I love sauces. So like if you had a sauce or two, like caramel sauce, if you're not making your own, you can buy those if you like. From your caramel sauce, your white chocolate, your even like strawberry sauce or pineapple sauce to decorate the bottom of the glass before you pipe your mousse inside. So and then top it off with a little whipped cream. It'd be really delicious.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. Do you want to, while I am going to go over to the side, and I'll show people in a second, but do you want to tell people about how did you get into chocolate? How did you get into desserts? Like, how are you? Like, you're so, like, Erika is like one of, like, she's a beautiful person, a really, great, friend, but just a really good colleague. And she's always, supporting people, cheerleading people, all that kind of stuff. So do you want to talk about, like your, chef history and all that kind of stuff?
Sometimes I get shy, but I'll be happy to. I started off in culinary at a very young age. I saw my grandmother cooking. I think a lot of us as chefs enjoyed our grandmother's cooking and just thought that that was the greatest thing in the world because how people appreciated the food that would come out of their kitchens. So I started cooking about 5 years old with my grandma because I always wanted to lick the bowl. At the same time, I kind of took it very seriously, and I started my first business at 8 years old called Erika Streets, and I was selling cakes and cookies to my teachers at my elementary school. So I've been working for a very long time. And then my mom put me in cake decorating classes at 12. And it just kind of just built up from there until I graduated out of high school and went straight to culinary school. Um, but all of a sudden, let me tell you this one little story. I was 10 years old and my parents took me to Hershey, Pennsylvania. And we stayed at the Hershey Castle, and also I fell in love with chocolate right there. But we all know that Hershey is not quite real chocolate. There's a lot of soy lecithin in there. There's a lot of other ingredients that you wouldn't call bean to bar chocolate. So we were staying that summer in DC. There's a little restaurant down the street called a Pizza Cake in Georgetown where we were living for the summer. And the chef there kind of took me under his wing and he said, let me show you what real chocolate is. And from that point on, I have not had a processed piece of chocolate ever again in my life. I've only had like real chocolate, bean to bar, cocoa berry calibo, Verona, small bean to bar chocolate companies like Dandelions out of San Francisco, all these other places. Very, very delicious. And from that point on, I wanted to learn how to make chocolate myself. Um, and then I started when I was the pastry chef of Peabody Hotel in Memphis. I took a class with Chef Jackie Pfeiffer and Sebastian Cans out of Chicago, and from that point, I was like in love with chocolate. Is like I found my purpose. Like that was how I could share some amazing things and what I love through food. And everybody loves food, and food brings happiness. So does chocolate. So I've been making chocolate from that point on. And in between those years, as Chef Nadine said, I've been on Top Chef Just Desserts, um, Food Network, Food Challenge as a judge. I also have I started my own nonprofit, which was called Culinary Wonders USA back in the early 2000s, and it showcased minority chefs across the country. Where at that time minority chefs were not being recognized. And so I turned this website into like a directory for people to find minority chefs from Ebony Magazine, Essence, Black Enterprise, Gourmet, Food and Wine magazines. All of them were go to that directory and find chefs. And chefs that you see today have been on that website. Now I no longer do it. It takes a lot of time and but I really enjoyed having that connection with chefs. So then from that point, while I was traveling, living in the Bahamas and then Tortola, British Virgin Islands, and throughout the United States, I've also done Minority Chef Summit, where these summits bring chefs together to raise money for local community centers or the wellness of chefs. And the last one we did was in Tortola, and we had about 14 chefs fly in. Um, and it was all about the wellness of yourself. Um, we got to island hop. We enjoyed other fine dining island restaurants. Oh, look at that! Now that is what's that now? That's
Mousse.
lovely,
It's a
lovely.
chocolate mousse. So I just wanted to show people. Can you pass me that salute? So I was off like to the side so people couldn't hear me. Just using a hand mixer, but you can put heavy cream in a mason jar, close it with the chocolate, and shake it. Like when I do team building events, I do that. Or you can just have people just hand mix it, and obviously it will take a little time. But that's really fun to do. But with the hand mixer, it takes around like 5 minutes, and I have no sugar in this. This is like just the dark chocolate and the heavy cream, because heavy cream has like a slight sweetness. I don't like a lot of sugar in my stuff, so you can just, if you want to, put powdered sugar, regular sugar, a little bit of vanilla. But it's one of my favorite kind of desserts because it's very light and very easy. So continue.
Oh, oh, that was pretty much it. That looked very nice. It looks like a great chocolate mousse, and I don't think you can stop eating it. It looks so good.
Yeah, my daughter said it's good too.
Awesome, awesome. But that was it pretty much. I mean, I just enjoy food, and food brings people together, and it also makes people very happy. And as an African American, it also brings family together, like on our Sunday dinners or family celebrations. It's always about the food. The first thing people say when you're having a party is what you're cooking. So, that is why I got into the business and the things that I've done over the years. So, and then also, food helps you travel, as just for instance, going to Jamaica with Chef Nadine. That was a fun few days. So I really enjoyed it. But I have to go, and I want to just say thank you, Chef, for having me on.
Thank you.
And
thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I hope you learned a little bit from what I talked about today.
Yeah, can you tell people where they can get your chocolates?
Yes, you can go on www.simplyerikas, ERIKAS.com. And you can see you can order our Valentine's box that has 7 different items. I just shipped out quite a few this morning. And it's going to go through the whole month of February. And that is super, super great. It has white chocolate nougat, cocoa nib cookies, our 38% Brazilian milk chocolate bar. What else? It has the 4 bonbons like I just showed you today. So many delicious things. Oh, and I also made my own soy cocoa nib vanilla candle because it's Valentine's. You always want a lovely candle smelling during the month of February. That is also in the box. And then our pink macaroons are in that box too, and chocolate caramel turtles. So you can see all this stuff on our website or order individually, make your own box. And every month I just keep adding different things that you can create your own box for. So www.simplyerikas.com is where you can find it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope to talk to you again soon. Have a
All
great
right, bye.
Happy Valentine's.
Yes, happy Valentine's to you too. Mwah.
Happy Valentine's Day.
So, like Erika said, like, chocolates are, I mean, I think chocolates are every day. And the chocolate mousse was amazing. I'm going to go wash my hands and then we're going to go put together the chocolate bombs. I'm going to show you how to put those together. And so I'm just going to explain them just talking wise. We're going to fill them up with whatever you want. And then I'm going to get a plate, and then you can get a plate and put it in the microwave, or you can get a plate or a cookie sheet, and you can put it on top of the stove, heat up the stove, take out your chocolate bomb. The other side that is not filled, we'll fill up one side, and then we'll put that other side, we'll put it on the heated source, and then we'll close it up. Or you can use melted chocolate with your spoon to do like a rough, like kind of closure also. So I just wanted to make sure that like people got that before, we have a couple more minutes that you understand how to do the full process, but it's really easy. And, YouTube and Google are your friend if you have any questions. And I always want to say to people, in these cooking classes, we have a very limited amount of time, but if you ever have any questions, always feel free to email me or contact me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can to answer your questions. All right, so with the chocolate bombs, you can put whatever you want. And so obviously we have hot chocolate. So put your hot chocolate in one side. I'm gonna just do 2 because I don't know if I have, I should have put some more chocolate on some of these to make sure that they close properly, right? So then you can put, some people, you want to put marshmallows. If you want to, you can put butterscotch, that gives it a different flavor. You can use, if you want to, this is like the powder kind of candy. So if you want to have a little kind of wintry, kind of refreshing taste, you can put that in there. If you want to, you can put peanut butter. We have extra cocoa, so if you want like less sweetness and more of a cocoa taste, you can put cocoa in there. Just straight up cocoa. I'm from the Caribbean. If you want to, you can put Milo or Ovaltine, that kind of flavor. This is espresso, so you can put espresso in there. So that's a mocha.
A little cinnamon would be nice too.
Right. So that's like so you can do cinnamon, a little cayenne pepper. That's like a Mexican style hot chocolate. So you can do like whatever you want. I'm Jamaican. We use like regular cocoa, allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg. So you can go in whatever direction that you want to go in. It's really up to you. And what's great is that you can use improvisation in what you're doing. All right, so I'm gonna just get a plate and I'm gonna put it in the microwave for a second for it to get hot so I can put the other side of the chocolate bomb on there and then close these up and show you how to close those up and then answer any questions that you might have after that. So like, can you where's I need a plate. I need it. So my daughter said about heating up a cookie sheet and just doing it a little faster. So I'm going to do that. And ooh, that's hot. So I just, you can do a regular pot. It doesn't really matter. Can you hold this for me? This side, so you don't hurt yourself. Thank you. So we're just going to pop these out. And if you want these to be a little bit more refined, because it's not like that, the most closed, then you can use a brush. And then I could have been a little bit more diligent with my spoon to make sure that's all kind of covered. So here there are sprinkles. I don't know if you can see that on the outside. All right, so I just put it, this is the outside, okay. So you see that that's melted, and then you just close that up. And what I can do, since it's not all the way closed, I melt more chocolate and then just close that up. Oh, oops. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna try another one, but that one isn't. That's what happens when you're trying to do something in the time that you have. And this one isn't closed either, but I would have done this, that was the first try, and then I would have made sure that I went and done another try to make sure that all the holes were closed up. But if you're using a brush, that makes it a lot easier too. Great. And then you can melt chocolate in here, like white chocolate, or you can bedazzle your chocolate bomb with gold and glitter. And all you do is like heat up some milk and then put it inside. Pour the milk on top of your chocolate bomb in a cup, and then you have wonderful chocolate. Can you pass me the other chocolate to see if it's set in the freezer, please?
That gold stuff looks like it's decorating gel, which you can find in like craft stores or cake decorating sections. You can also find edible glitter in the same place.
Exactly. So here's the chocolates, and then see, it's like your own little Chips Ahoy. See, it's nice and glossy. I will. I think you were trying to be sarcastic. No, okay. Like I'm not joking. All right. Hi. Hi. And then this is the butterscotch cashew. Okay. Your arms. Sorry. Here's the peppermint. Right here. Here's white chocolate. Wash your hands first. And then I can't remember what the last one of this one is. I think I can't remember which one, but it's filled with something. Right. And as I said, like what you can do if you want to make it even more interesting is that you can do dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, so just use a little bit of each and then put stuff on the inside. And then you have all the gradation of chocolate. And so that adds like some contrast and texture also. All right.
We have a comment from one of the viewers, Julia, who says, so for my chocolates, I crisped up the marshmallows a bit. Then I have peanut butter, trying a chili powder in the chocolate, and the rose geranium jelly. And she also said, those look like beautiful bombs.
Yeah, exactly. So, like what you just said, like you can put jam, all that kind of stuff, all the things that she just said. Oh, I want that geranium jelly, Juliet. So this is the chocolate that's already set. And you see like how it has the little eyelashes and like the little smile.
Face.
Right. So all that is melting chocolate. If you want it to be a little bit more smooth, you can put in coconut milk or a little bit of oil, and that's it. So I tried to do the most basic of chocolate recipes that don't include milk, like the cream that we used for the mousse was $1.55 at Aldi. So that is mousse that can feed at least 6 to 8 people with the chocolate. So that's a dessert for like $3. That is like amazing. You put it in mason jars, close it up, put it in the fridge, let it set, and then give it to people on the way out if you want to. But I hope that you had fun in chocolate. It's very versatile. You see, you can do many different things with it. And as I said, everyone has a love of chocolate. Happy Valentine's Day. See you tomorrow. I have 2 programs tomorrow. I have Co-Create from 6:30 to 8:30. We have Teresa Joseph from Notorious PIC, which is experiential photography company. And we're going to be talking about photography, manifestation, getting into the vortex and embodying what you want to be. And then from 3 to 5, we have Pan-African Cooking Lab, where we're going to be looking at African-American cuisine and workshopping recipes and taking pictures and photos. So please join me for our weekly programs and have a great Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.